This is Cutting Down the Nets, Wednesday, January 19th. Decent schedule today. Let's check in on how we're doing. 55.5% in last 7 days, 20 and 18. This accounts for every game yesterday except for Fresno State, which is the only thing keeping us from a winning day. So 3-3 leading into that, and plenty of regret. A late ad for Northwestern at the fringe of my model. Forced it. Actual American currency on Chris Collins. I have to tell my kids that. I have to say, Dad put money on Chris Collins. He placed a bet on Chris Collins. Egregious. IKB, as my friend Adam Levitan would say. Other regrets. Fordham being without Day Jr. I knew it. It wasn't a surprise. He doesn't play for them anymore. And I thought we were getting enough points. It's sad. And then Texas Tech in the dream spot for revenge, getting the Cyclones after their home win over Texas. Just thought it was too many. Just thought we had overreacted to the situation, and certainly thought losing by 15, 20 points was in the range of outcomes, but in such a low total game, and Texas Tech playing their sixth game in 12 days, I gave it a shot, and I regret it. So the wins worked out fine, but that's just kind of the ups and downs of college basketball. So let's get on. This is a forward-thinking show. Let's get to our schedule for Wednesday. LSU, Alabama. Here's the story here. I have LSU by 3, mainly because Alabama's profile has been dragged down by that weird Mizzou game. And Mizzou threw another one on the calendar tonight against Mississippi. So the actual line is Alabama -3, but shot quality has Bama at 16 and LSU at 28. So that implies that this line at -3 may even be a little light. Here's the deal. LSU is running a really weird concept of have your opponents miss lots of open shots. And their offense took a tanking without Xavier Pinson, who is also questionable for this game. So here's how I'm playing this. I'm not betting Alabama. I don't bet against my model. No, never. It's either play it, confirm it, or too much risk, sit out. However, I could see the hate for LSU go too far in this spot, and that would give me some interest in LSU if that line grew too much. We'll just monitor that one. Kentucky, Texas A&M, man, good luck getting a light Kentucky line the rest of the year. I thought me having them favored by 9 on the road at Texas A&M would be enough to put them in play, but no, the line is 7.5. Iowa, Rutgers. I am your lifelong Iowa fan, once again coming to you to consider betting against Iowa. Iowa up to 10th in shot quality. Interesting. Rutgers, 77. Not likely a play for me. It's Rutgers or bust for me, and I'd have to see that line in the 5 range, which is not likely, but I don't know, possible. Mississippi State and Florida. I capped this at 4. Florida -4. Torvik at 5. KenPom 4. But the line is 6.5. Shot quality has these teams even, so that's suggesting a tad of an inflated line. From a matchup perspective, Mississippi State should own the offensive glass. They rebound an insane amount of their own misses, and Florida certainly not strong in that area, but turnover concerns on both sides. Basically, Florida's a little sloppier with the ball than Mississippi State, and Mississippi State can turn you over, but Florida's much better at turning you over, so it probably ends up being a wash on the turnover side. But give me just a little bit more, and I'll pull the trigger on Mississippi State. Xavier DePaul, this is a weird one. Xavier basically playing the poor man's version of themselves from a pace perspective, shot selection, strengths, weaknesses. Like DePaul is poor man Xavier. This is a lot of points on the road. DePaul does, like most teams, play a little better at home, but beating Seton Hall took away the situational spot that would have probably made DePaul an auto bet, because I think that would have been 5 straight losses without that win. So I have this closer to the 10.5, 11 range. The line is 7. So it's certainly in the pool, but I don't know which way. I'll go with that and obviously hope for more value. St. John's and Creighton. So data has Creighton minus 7.5, 8 points, and they're only laying 4, but not so fast, my friend. St. John's 45 in shot quality, Creighton 63. So an edge in shot quality to St. John's. Major, major, major turnover concerns for the Jays. But we've seen Creighton still put up points in limited possessions. One of the few teams that can turn it over 25% of the time, but then on the non-turnover possessions, still light it up. Situationally, Creighton off back-to-back losses, but their issues extend back to before that fluky win versus Villanova. So this is likely a sit-out for me, mainly because of turnovers. That is an extremely big mismatch in favor of St. John's. To the Missouri Valley, we go Bradley at Drake. Drake likely playing with a full complement of starters for it could be first time this year, at least first time in a while, as they get Tank Hemphill back. But I have Drake minus 2, and they're laying 7 points. Shot quality has Bradley as 100th. Overall, Drake is 82nd. Bradley 8-10 on the year. Drake 13-5. Drake has a sneaky profile though. Like, they were just a few close losses to some quality teams early on to being really good. Ultimately, my concern with this game is Bradley turnovers. They led by 17 last game against Illinois State, and then lit my money on fire with allowing I think it was a 42-11 run. And they did that by turning the ball over every possession. Not ideal here, as Drake can turn you over. So concerns here. There's concerns in every game, though. So I like shot quality. I like the disparity in the records. And I think we get a little steam with Drake. So we could be betting a Bradley like plus 8.5 when it's all said and done. Virginia at Pitt. Am I going back to my Pitt BS? Shot quality has Virginia at 76, Pitt at 127. I hope this number grows, because that's a tough one to swallow. Man, Pitt's offense against that defense is scary. But, hey, it's going to be some elite grinding and could come down to the final possession. Let's hope we get a bigger number. Some orange games here. I would need like 5+ to get on the Mercer side here. Although shot quality does have Mercer as a little stronger than East Tennessee State, it's just not enough value at 3.5. So at least 4.5, maybe 5 to want to jump in there, which is possible with the Ken Pom number of 5. Georgia and Auburn. The worst spot in the world for Auburn. They play Kentucky this Saturday, and I mean, if you're a human, you just see a layup in front of you. Like, you're at home, you got Georgia. Let's just rest our legs. Let's win this game. Let's move on. I'm certainly not betting the Georgia side, but there's just not a worse spot than a 4-touchdown or a 3-touchdown favorite right before the Kentucky game. BU at Loyola, Maryland. I have Loyola, Maryland minus 4. It's a pick'em. Shot quality has these teams nearly identical. So for Loyola, Maryland to just be a pick'em is a little fishy there. But situationally, BU coming off some losses, and LMD has rattled off 5 straight wins. So not the best situation. Our last green game, New Hampshire at Hartford. New Hampshire's laying 2. They are 268 in shot quality. Hartford is 313. New Hampshire's only played 11 games, but they did have a couple high major opponents early in the year and played them tough. This will be a high variance game. Lots of 3-pointers. I trust New Hampshire's shooting much better. Some orange ones down here. Just a lot of points for Furman against Western Carolina. Whew, you're asking me to lay 2 possessions with high points on the road. I know better. And then American and Army. You're asking me to lay 3 possessions for Army, even though it is American. Probably not. So, leaves a weird card. Kind of like today. I waited and waited. Lines were really moving. What I'm looking at, I like Bradley +7. Not going to bet it right away. I think that could move. New Hampshire -2. I don't feel the urgency there. I have enough value built in that I can monitor that, and I don't see that line, moving lots. It's possible I lose a half point, but I'd rather monitor and confirm availability of players, that sort of stuff. Pitt +3.5. That line could also grow. And Xavier -7. I hope it drops. So I'm not in a hurry, just like yesterday, to bet any of these. Gonna kind of let it stew. Gonna be careful. Gonna tread lightly during these dog days of college basketball. Now I am monitoring a couple games. Mississippi State, if it got to like 7.5. Rutgers, if it got to like 4.5, 5. LSU, if Bama gets the steam treatment. I mean, just not sure. So that's what I'm looking at. That's my pool. As you saw today, 2 teams slid in at the end. Air Force, 19.5. Why? The line moved far enough for me with a game total of like, I don't know, 120 or something like that. And it's like, okay, you're asking for like a miracle for Boise to cover with that low of a total, and got good value and went for it. Another game that slid in was Monmouth. It got all the way up to 4, almost lost it in overtime, but we held on. So it's possible that some of these games that were kind of off the radar move enough points to kind of get in my window. So that's what I'm looking at. I hope it's a great day. I hope you have a great day. And thanks for stopping by, cutting down the nets.